Welcome back to Ozarks FOX AM. It is time to simplify with Cami Jenkins.
Last week I talked about the things that I allow to come into my heart and stay there, and how I need to recognize them so I can get rid of all of those complicated emotions. When I simplify what's in my heart, I have so much more joy and peace, even if life around me is complicated or unsettling. So here's an example. My son, at 3.5, didn't listen to something that I told him, and as a result, he made a huge mess. I got really frustrated, and I lost my temper fast. And in my mean voice, I said, "You're making me mad." Very calmly, but matter of fact, he responded, "You're mad because you talk like that." I thought about those words my entire day. It stuck with me and seemed so odd because it was almost like Jesus himself said words straight out of the mouth of a 3-year-old. I know my son didn't even mean it to the depth that I heard his statement, but in the simplicity of a very young child, I heard wisdom. Isn't it true that if we let ourselves be angry or speak in an angry way, we allow a window for more anger to enter? Regardless of the situation, because my son still needs to obey and he needs to be dealt with when he neglects to obey, the issue is how we allow ourselves to handle conditions that anger us. When I was in high school, I not so fondly remember that if I or a close friend was mad at someone, we felt that gave us the right to vent. And the honest purpose of my venting to friends who I knew would stick by my side was so that they would agree with me that the other person was an idiot, which would somehow justify my bad attitude. Although I've matured since those days, do I resemble the same person that I was? Do I complain and say non-praiseworthy things up toward or about other people just so I can feel better about my own position, to justify a bad attitude? Do I allow myself to stay angry? How does my anger affect people around me? How is complaining going to help a situation? Am I trying to get others worked up about something because I'm worked up about it? Does my venting serve a valid purpose, or does it allow my anger to linger on without resolve? So here is the simple truth that I've come to. Frustration and anger, amongst other emotions, comes down to a choice. A choice I can make to be slow to anger, and a choice as to how long I'm going to hold on to it. It's one of those things that may come into my heart, but I can take it captive and not allow it to stay before it takes me captive. We were meant to live free. And as we continue with the stay-at-home order, it's taxing on us and the people that we live with, and therefore I'm going to pay close attention to what I do with my frustration and my anger so I can have peace during this time. Now, here's this week's recipe. It's an old school pie that's super simple. It's called sugar cream pie. You want to start with a lightly brown baked pie shell. I cooked mine at 375 for about 13 minutes. Then, in a large saucepan, combine 1 cup sugar, 1/4 cup cornstarch, stir in 2 cups 2% or whole milk until smooth. Bring it to a boil, reduce heat, cook and stir 2 minutes or until thickened and bubbly. Remove from the heat. Stir in 1/2 cup cubed butter and 1 teaspoon vanilla. Transfer to the crust, sprinkle with cinnamon. The directions say to bake 15 to 20 minutes or until golden brown in a 375-degree oven. I baked mine for 45 minutes, and honestly, I should have kept it in longer so it would have set better. So keep a close watch on it. Cool, then refrigerate until chilled. You can actually serve it a little warm or cold. It reminds me of a toasted marshmallow, so I'm happy. See you soon.